Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to provide you an overview on the watch page feature on Screencastify and its new improvements. So if you've used this feature before, the watch page on Screencastify is basically a separate web page that's created for your students to view your videos on one screen. On that separate web page, your students can watch your videos without having any distracting ads or comments or suggested videos that are really not related to your content. So it's a less distracted view of any Screencastify videos you might create and want to share with your students. Now, I will say there is a con to using this watch page feature on Screencastify in that it does not create closed captions for your videos if you're sharing students' videos using this link. So basically, the watch page creates a link and students can watch the video, but there's no way for them to toggle captions on and off. So there is a way for them to toggle captions on for their browser, but that's a little bit more time intensive, but it is something they can do if you want to leverage this feature. So the Screencastify watch page is something that's automatically made for every single one of your videos. So I got to my Screencastify recording screen right here, and this is a past video that I have made. And there's some helpful features on the Screencastify watch page here and how you can share this with your students. So the Screencastify watch page, basically what it allows you to do is to track how many people have viewed your video and who's watched your video. Now, by default, it's set to anonymous, but I can show you how you can set this up so that students have to either use a nickname to access your video or use their BCSC Google account so you can track that they've watched it. There's also the ability to add interactive questions into your videos, and they can answer those interactive questions if you give them the watch page link. If you just post the video on YouTube, they won't have the interactive elements to it. So, how do I get to my watch page for a video? Whenever you have finished creating a video on Screencastify, it always still uploads into your Google Drive, and that's going to be available at the bottom of your page. You can also export it to YouTube. But now, on the new Screencastify look, as of September 22nd, 2021, at the very top of your page, you'll see a watch page informational piece here. So if I copy my share link right here, I'm going to go over into another browser tab so you can see what this is like. I'll click this video. All right, and I have this one set up to where I have to use a Google account. And the watch page, as you can see here, it takes a second to load. You don't need to listen to me twice. But what it does is it allows you to watch the video here, and there's no distracting ads. The students can still watch it in full screen mode. They can even adjust still the playback speed. But again, like I said, no closed captions options right there. So they can watch the video there. And then as students are watching this, on the teacher side of things, if I go back, you can see that I've had people watch this video. And this is the helpful part about using the watch page link is it gives you an idea on who's interacting with your content and who's not. If perhaps you're not posting it on YouTube and you want to have this type of data still in this analytics. So if I click where it says viewers, the first time I shared this video out, I did not have it set up to where someone had to sign in to watch it. So what you'll see right here is it just says anonymous user, the number of times they viewed it, and that's about it. However, if I click Learn About Viewer Analytics, I can get some more information from Screencastify here. But what I want to do is if I'm thinking I want to be able to see who's watched this video and see my students' names beside it so I can know who did the assignment or who needs some additional help or maybe who is having some issues accessing it, what I can do is at my watch page settings up here at the top where it says Show Share Settings, I'm going to click that. And right here, it's almost like you're configuring settings for a Google resource where I'm going to configure it so that people have to sign in when I give them that watch page link. So I know that it's them that's watching it and it's tied with their Google account. So if I click who can access this video, anyone with the link or anyone in my organization, which would be BCSC, I can toggle that. And then how do I want to track the analytics? So this is the key part if you want to see who's watching your video and have more accurate numbers there. So I can click here, anonymous, no sign-in required. It's just a link, they can view it. If I do email address, then the students could use their BCSC Google account, and I would be able to tell that it was them that watched it and have their name. If I do nickname, then I'm trusting that they enter a nickname that I know them by, and we're good from there. So you have some additional options there. So I'm going to do email address and save. And that's why when I went over here to this screen, I had to sign in with a Google account to be able to watch this video. So it's almost like it protects your videos from being viewed by just anyone. It's just you, and you can have your students sign in with your Google account there. So those are some of the benefits of the watch page. It allows your students an ad-free viewing experience, and it allows you to track viewers of the video. The watch page also allows you to insert interactive questions. So the benefit of doing that is if you want to ask some check-in questions or formative assessments within a video viewing experience for your students, this is a great way to do that. Now, I will say the only way that these interactive elements work is if you use the Screencastify watch page feature. And the watch page is a separate web page that's created for a Screencastify video that you've made. It gets rid of any ads and it's just purely the video that's on that page. But it's also where you can track views of the video, like I was just explaining in another part of the video, and then also where you can add interactive questions. So if you make a Screencastify video and you add interactive questions and then you give students the YouTube link, they won't have any interactive elements to it. It has to be the watch page link that you use here. Other things to know: if you're giving students the watch page link for them to view the video and then also to use that to respond to interactive questions, you'll need to toggle your settings here to where students sign in with their BCSE Google account or something like that, so that basically you don't have anonymous responses unless that's what you would like. So whenever I make a video on Screencastify, at the top of my page here, I have the watch page information. I can just copy and share that with my students, but by default, it is always set to where it's anonymous. So if I want to change this, I would click email address so that my students have to sign in with their BCSE Google account. And the benefit of that is that whenever they go and they answer my interactive questions, I can see what each student answered, so I have an idea of that. You can keep it anonymous if you would like. Maybe this is just no type of high stakes element to it, but you might want to toggle this to email address if you want to. So I already had that set up to where they have to sign in with their email address, but that's where I would change that. So if I scroll a little bit further down the page, this is where I have the option to add interactive questions. So if I click interactive questions, all right, it's going to show my video here. And on my teacher editing view, this is where I have all of these options here to make my video interactive for my students. So if I scroll a little bit further down the page, I see the timestamp here and I can toggle it to anywhere I would like. And I click this blue add a question button whenever I get to a point in the video where I would like to add a question. So if I click add question, here are the options that I have. I can change the timestamp if I need to, and I type in my question text. We do have some limitations in the type of questions you can ask here. It's not an abundant list of options. It is purely multiple choice. And you have to have at least 2 options. So you can do a true and false, either or. You can do 3 options or all 4. You can't add more than 4. You can't have less than 2. Obviously, so I have to pick something and not just have the answer given to them. All right. All right, so I indicate which answer is correct, and I'll click Save. All right, then I would just keep going through my video. Whenever I get to another point, I want to add another question, I can go through and do that again. Add in my question here and save. All right, so I've added in my questions, and whenever I am finished with adding in my interactive elements here, the share button at the top is my watch page link. So technically I could get back to my watch page link if I go back to my recordings and copy that watch page link there, but I can also just get to that here whenever I'm finished editing my interactive video questions. So what I'm going to do is click copy watch page link. I'm going to open this in another tab so you can see what it's like. This is another Google account that I have, my personal one. But as we can see here, and it does put little markers here so the students can visually see when a question is coming up. All right. And I already had signed in to watch this video, but I had it set up to where it's going to track my answers with my Google account right there. And I'll click play.
Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can install the screen recording and web recording extension in Google.
All right. So hopefully I would actually have covered this topic in this video before I inserted this question. For the sake of this example, I just put in a question, but it pops up with this alert here and I'll select the answer that I think is correct. So I'll do Chrome Web Store and submit. And then I would click continue and then it resumes playing the video for me.
So Screencastify is a really great tool if you want to give your students demonstrations and tutorials on resources, but it's also really helpful.
So technically, I also did want to point out as well that if you try to skip ahead on an interactive video link, students can't. They have to watch the whole video. They can't skip ahead to other questions. They can't skip further along the video and have it submitted. They do have to answer the questions as they pop up. Otherwise, this alert won't go away. So if I look here, I'm just going to select my answer, and I'm actually going to select the wrong one there. And then it tells me right away if it was right or wrong. So again, it tells the students what's correct, what's not, and just continues. They don't get the chance to change their answer, but they do get immediate feedback there and how they did.
Give your students
Continue.
video feedback.
And
so that is
there we go.
Really
so I can jump ahead after I've answered all of the questions.
I find this tool as helpful as others have.
All right. So it tells me my answers have all been done. I've answered all of the questions, and I'll do return to video. And then it just keeps me here on my regular viewing screen. So the students can watch the video over again, but if you notice here, it already has their answer selected, so they can't redo it. They can watch it again if they need to, just can't resubmit the questions. So now that we have done that, what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to Screencastify. And I kept this page open here where I had built those questions in my videos. But technically, I could click my recordings link up here, and I could go to my recordings and still get to that video. It's this one here, and then also click interactive questions and go through that whole process of looking at my questions again. I kept it open for the sake of this example. So I'm back here on my screen. I had my questions that I added in.
Hello and welcome.
And I'm going to move myself over here so you can see a little bit better. Add my questions over here. I can see them off to the side. This is where I shared the link. But if I click responses, now I can see how people responded. So I had my video set up to where I had to sign in with my Google account to watch it. So you can see my name here on how I did. This generates some data here on your overall score, your responses. And these are new features that are coming soon. They're not quite there yet, but you do get an overall look here on how your students did and how people did when they watched the video, and maybe some analytics on which questions were more frequently missed. So again, this is a really helpful option if you wanted to make your videos a little bit more interactive. Again, when students watch the video, they can answer the question one time. They don't get to redo it. It does give them immediate feedback on if the question was correct or wrong, and they can't skip past questions. They can jump to the end of the video after they've answered all the questions, but they can't skip to where they're just answering questions and not actually watching the content. So that is a really brief overview on how to use this tool. If you have some success with it, please share and let us know. We love to see how you guys are using this. And stay tuned for more Screencastify updates. Thank you.